The homeboy got an executive order and a nigga got electrocuted in an electric chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, also, Mike, for being here. This is a very important moment and a moment that means a great deal to me. This month has been a wonderful opportunity to celebrate African American history.
They need to change Black American History Month into a month where a nigga can barbecue at. Why in the hell they gonna have it in February? Niggas don't barbecue in February.
And to begin working together to create a better future for African Americans and universities and colleges and everything that is African American. Today we're taking action to help make that future happen and that future better.
All except one African American, I hope her future get worse.
Historically, Black colleges and universities are incredibly important institutions, woven into the fabric of our history, just about like no other. Church is very important, yes. Right? Yes. Colleges and universities. Come here. My defender, he's on
Donald Trump donated more money to historical Black colleges than any president in history, including the Black president.
Education has the power to uplift. It has the power to transform, and perhaps most important, education has the power to create greater equality and justice in our lives. That's why today I'm thrilled to be signing an executive order to recognize the importance of historically Black college and universities. Very important.
If it was Barack Obama, it would have been something about gays in the libraries can give head while you read. Something about some kind of gay rights.
With this executive order, we will make HBCUs a priority in the White House, an absolute priority.
All right.
Fake news never talk about when Donald Trump do something good for Black people, but as soon as he tells somebody, if you don't like it, you can leave, he racist.
A lot of people are going to be angry that they're not a priority, but that's okay.
A lot of Democrats and liberals gonna be mad because you're doing their job.
And I'm going to sign this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This is really fantastic.
Wasn't it Donald Trump who asked Black people to vote for him? What do you have to lose?
Promises made, promises
kept. That's right.
Unemployment among Black at an all-time low. First Step Act, Opportunity Zone.
Opportunity zones is something else the Republicans done for Black people that the Democrats won't tell. Opportunity zones just didn't create opportunities for broke people. It also created opportunities for investors.
So I have to say, this is a big topic among investors here in New York and beyond.
And you know what investors do? They invest.
And sort of scrambling to figure out how to take advantage of this opportunity.
And Donald Trump could take credit for opportunity zones, but he gave all the credit to a Black man.
A tremendously talented and a good person, Senator, a friend of mine for a long time, Tim Scott.
And Senator Tim Scott, come up here.
People think Black Republicans are hard to find. Did you know the first Black politician was a Republican? Something else I found out by doing my research. So not only give it up for Donald Trump, you also got to give it up for my nigga Tim Scott. And for those liberals say Donald Trump is racist, he didn't have to do shit.
And we're talking today about opportunity zones, putting people to work and getting businesses started and creating a lot of good things. And our tax plan, which has done so much, the tax cuts, I call it, but it really is, it's tax cuts and reform. It really creates some really big advantages for these opportunity zones.
And why Barack Obama can't get none of this done? Don't tell me the Republicans wouldn't let him, because you mean to tell me more Republicans hate Barack Obama than Democrats hate Donald Trump?
Well, the president is doing what he needs to do when it comes down to black people by showing people this is what you need for the black community. You need jobs so that you can take care of your family. Right. Instead of talking about it, he's being about it. And that's why black people are waking up to it.
And that's why Democrats are mad at it. Tim Scott has done more for black people than Barack Obama have.
We spoke late last summer about legislation that I thought would be very helpful to distressed communities. As you recall, I grew up in a single-parent household, came from one of the distressed communities, and we sat in these very chairs and had a discussion about opportunity zones and what it could mean for the future of this country.
So Tim Scott is not only helping the hood, Tim Scott is also from the hood.
And within a couple of days, when you were on Air Force One, you were talking positively about this legislation, in part because of your serious support of this legislation.
And serious support of black people.
I was able to get it included in the tax reform package, and now we are sitting on opportunity. I think it's a gold mine for so many kids in so many communities that thus far have not had the access to opportunities.
Speaking of opportunities, I informed my hitman the best time to take advantage of my baby mama is when she sleep, because you know she got monkey strength. And my baby mama will have a big advantage if the opportunity is not taken.
You're breathing in new hope into distressed communities around this country, and I want to say thank you for doing that.
I'd be glad when my baby mama is breathing in anthrax, so I can thank my hitman for doing that.
Seeing these opportunity zones manifesting in every single state in this country.
Throughout this country, I told my hitman to scatter the body throughout the country, so it'd be hard to put the evidence together.
Now, each governor and the head of the 5 territories and D.C. have the ability to designate 25% of their economically distressed areas as opportunity zones.
And 25% in business is a lot of damn percent. If my hitman wouldn't have gave me an extra 25% off, I wouldn't have been able to pay him off till next year.
I just think the important key points is to realize that Treasury is working very hard on getting the guidance out. We have investors in the room who are very interested and engaged in the process.
And when investors in the room, money talk and bullshit walks.
Opportunity funds then work in these areas where people can invest unrealized capital gains.
Unrealized mean money you can get that you didn't know you can get, that you can get when you didn't know you can get it.
I represent community banks, minority community banks, and also national community banks. So what we would like clarification on, and hope that you will help assist more of the guidelines in including community banks that serve not only urban communities but also rural communities, to allow them to be approved to receive capital investments.
I don't know what capital investments mean, but that shit sound important. I know my grandmother made capital investments to the Mexican mafia all the time. And every time my grandmother made a capital investment, it was a contract.
And depending on how long you leave those gains in there, you get certain benefits. If you leave it in for 5 years, you get a 10% decrement in the amount of capital gains that's owed on the original investment. 2 additional years, you get an additional 5%. If you leave it in for 10 years, you have to pay no capital gains on the new money that was gained from the investment.
And if you put that in my grandmother terms, that's like her getting credit off the crack that she done gave out on credit, even though she got the money back.
And in doing that, you're already leveraging a platform that has been in existence, that have been providing mortgages, consumer loans, and business loans for decades. And so if the Opportunity Zone Fund can, support this initiative for community banks, it would be a tremendous victory for us.
In my grandmother terms, that's like the Mexican mafia giving my grandmother extra money to buy dope spots to put extra crack dealers in them.
So it's a tremendous opportunity financially, but the even bigger opportunity is people with money are going to invest it somewhere.
Remember when business owners used to come to black neighborhoods and just use the community? Businesses just can't come in the hood and take the money and run. They gotta actually stay in the hood. So that means a lot of community-based businesses.
Last year, 75% of venture capital in the United States went to 3 states.
And 85% of the drug deals in my neighborhood went to one gangster. My grandmother.
California, New York, and Massachusetts, 75%.
Damn, that's 2 sanctuary states. And Massachusetts is trying to turn itself into a sanctuary state. Ain't that a bitch?
The other, 47 states fight over the other 25%.
Damn, 47 states, that's not even 1% apiece. That's like 0.5%. So y'all got to fight over 0.5% for 47 other states. Ain't that a bitch?
And since startups are the major job creators, if we're only backing startups in Silicon Valley or New York and Boston, not in Des Moines or Detroit or Charleston or other parts of the country, we shouldn't be surprised that a lot of people feel kind of left out and left behind.
I heard of no kids left behind, so now we got to start a movement, no states left behind.
So we have to level the playing field so everybody everywhere really feels like they have a shot at the American dream.
And not the Democratic nightmare.
Hopefully in the next few weeks, the rules will be clarified in a way that will help not just on the real estate side, but also on the startup side. And we can create back more startups in more places that create more jobs in more places and give more people in more parts of the country a reason to wake up in the morning and be hopeful about the future as opposed to anxious about the future.
And uncertain about your future.
So it's a very important provision. Hopefully everybody in the administration will make a priority out of making sure that it's put in place quickly and the rules are written in a way that's very supportive of this next generation of startups.
And Donald Trump made sure all that getting money out the hood and running back to the suburbs is not happening.
This encourages them to invest it in areas that have traditionally been neglected. And that's what's going to make the big difference. And because it's a long-term investment, you don't have people coming in, reaping benefits, and disappearing.
I invested my benefits to make my baby mama disappear.
And so for us, I'm really excited because what this does is give us an opportunity to unleash capital in communities that have been left out.
Black people helping black people throughout the country by investing in the community.
And they're going to be interested in the return on investment, so they're going to be interested in making sure that that investment works.
In my grandmother terms, she gonna make sure the niggas in the spots selling them rocks. My grandmother check and see if niggas in the dope spots selling rocks like a pimp check and see is his hoe on the block selling cock.
The flow of capital is a mother's milk of any great economy. And so when you don't have it in certain communities, you don't have the opportunities for economic mobility and for people to thrive. And so what this does is give a non-traditional way of capital to flow to these communities so that the people on the ground are truly impacted. So thank you for your support for this, you and Senator Scott.
When he say people on the ground, he mean people on the ground, literally.
We see this tool here as just another option here for us to do good things in our community.
And ain't black people about community?
Such as creating pathways to self-sufficiency for single parents.
And single parenthood is big in the community. Won't black people having jobs, a place to stay, and being out of poverty make it easier to take care of your kids and be a family? Black people can actually be a family again. Remember that? When a man can be a man and a woman can be a woman and they can raise their kid together. Back in the days, black men was taking care of so many responsibilities, they had 2 families.
And we do a lot of work there with permanent supportive individuals that are homeless, and we see this as a great opportunity to expand those offerings here through, not only throughout Indiana, but throughout the country.
And them black people just getting jobs. Now you want to bring immigrants in to take them jobs?
So grateful for this new tool and new law, and excited about leveraging, and I'm sure many other folks in our business sector see an opportunity to leverage this tool as well.
It seems like that word opportunity is a big word. Ask yourself, how many opportunities you done had in the last 3.5 years?
So we're thrilled that this was included in the tax plan. Very, very important part of our economic development goal, and we're busy working at the IRS. We just sent out a letter to all the governors to make sure that we understand in the states where they want to put the money to work, and we're excited to get this going. So big impact on all these areas and the economy.
Black people working will help the economy. Immigrants coming over here taking jobs will hurt the economy.
I think the biggest difference is the long-term incentive to stay invested and therefore to be interested in what happens with your investment.
That's how Donald Trump able to brag on all them job numbers. Remember, Donald Trump is not a businessman. He is a businessman. And what do a businessman do? Know how to handle business and know where the business is needed to be handled.
And I want to thank you for your leadership, and Senator Scott, your leadership, because this is an opportunity for the first time that I think the government is allowing the private sector to take a lead to try to build a foundation of wealth for a community that heretofore has not been able to participate.
Not being able to participate because ain't nobody want to put no money in the hood. Now they got an incentive to put money in the hood. You mean to tell me Barack Obama couldn't get no business leaders in the White House to discuss black unemployment, black community, and black jobs?
And I'm very excited about being a part of this. And there are a number of conservative business, African American, and other minority executives who are making a contribution to make this come real so we can get the lift for our country.
And Donald Trump didn't put it in the government hands. He wants the government to put it into the people's hands, or at least the people that's supposed to help the people.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we didn't want the zones to be chosen by a group of federal people. We left it up to the states themselves, to the governors, and to the people who advise the governors in their state, because they will be the ones who will have the best impression of which places will benefit.
So if your local official didn't put an opportunity zone in your hood, don't blame him, blame them.
Jim Sorensen. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor, but most recently an impact investor. We invest in businesses that we think help to benefit society, and we see this as a tremendous new policy that is really unknown in the Tax Reform Act. Not many people knew about this, but it has tremendous benefits to 50 million people that live in these distressed areas, and it does this by providing them with economic opportunity to be able to help themselves through access to capital that will help create new startups that create jobs.
And opportunity zones just don't help black people. Opportunity zones help all people, if you take advantage of the opportunity, of course.
I represent a community of about 77,000 people, very high poverty community. We get lost when it comes between Boston and New York. And as you can imagine, there's not much moving into Connecticut these days. So this is an opportunity.
There go that word again, opportunity.
And I've had an opportunity to travel around the country and see some of the places, and it's really quite spectacular. One of the places I went was a sawmill. And, it was going out of business because it was in an opportunity zones. New buyers came along, they bought it, they invested, built it up, hiring. And as a result of that, builders came in and started building houses for the employees.
Last time I checked, that's how you build a community.
And we keep using the word opportunity, and it's so fitting. This is an opportunity to transform a community like mine. That is still, the poverty rate is high enough, but we're small enough that even an investment, even of a couple $1 million, would have the ability to transform lives and direct lives, and we're really grateful. Thank you.
And with businesses getting a tax break, everybody wins.
But one of the things that would be very helpful for us is written comments as it relates to how can we steer the guidance in the right direction so as to benefit the communities that we've served. I think Steve did a really good job talking about venture capital, where it goes today and what it would take for it to go someplace different tomorrow.
Different tomorrow, like into the hands of the people who really need it. And who know more about investments than Donald Trump? And you got these liberals talking about it's going to hurt tax revenue.
Well, I think what will be generated will be much greater. A conservative estimate is that $100 billion will be attracted into these zones. I suspect it'll be even much more than that, because when you look at the last couple of years, there's about $2.3 trillion in unrealized capital gains, and as people begin to realize the long-term benefit here, I think that will probably take care of itself.
And the liberals was hating on this plan, talking about it's not going to work. We done heard plans like this before. What's different about your plan? First of all, it was different because it wasn't wrote by a Democrat. So it was actually wrote by somebody who actually give a fuck about America. So if the Democrats could have came up with something better, they should have. So since they didn't, they should shut the fuck up.
There's already been about $25 billion committed, and we don't even have the second and third tranches of regulations out yet. So I think the information is spreading around quickly. And, look at some of the long-term investments that people do for retirement and things like that. This is going to be an ideal vehicle for those. And as people begin to get more involved in these and hear about the successes that others are having, I think our next problem is going to be them demanding that we create more opportunity zones.
And more opportunity zones mean more jobs. And more jobs mean less people in poverty. And less people, of course, on food stamps.
And there have been some great ideas that I'm sure Ivanka and others will have an opportunity to discuss with you at a later time.
Ivanka Trump, sexy ass? Ivanka Trump is sexy as shit. She is grown, damn it. I had a dream about her last night.
Ivanka, would you like to say something? You've been pushing this very hard.
Speaking of hard, okay, this is the wrong skit for that. Next!
Yeah, no, I've been tremendously pleased to be able to have such a robust discussion with so many in this room today and prior to today. And Senator Scott, your leadership on this has been incredible.
Ivanka, you are incredible. Oh, my bad, back to the skit.
So creating the incentive to bring capital into communities that are currently being overlooked is just a tremendous opportunity. And the fact that this was integrated into the tax bill, which is already proving to be so beneficial for people all over this country, is just another element as we start to rebuild those distressed communities, of which 60 or 53 million Americans live in them today. So this will target those areas and create a lot of investment opportunities. So thank you all for your comments and your feedback. And Senator, thank you for your leadership.
And thank you for that back massage in my dream. Oh, I forgot, I'm still in the skit. Next!
I will say the success that we had over the child tax credit, if that is an example of what's possible, good things are coming our way.
Damn, the Republicans done child tax care too? What the hell is that?
A group of bipartisan lawmakers are trying to make it easier for new parents to take time off of work.
Take time off of work and do what?
One America's Jake Henry explains more about their proposal for paid parental leave.
Paid parental leave? I'm a deadbeat daddy because I didn't want to pay parental stay.
Republicans and Democrats come together to introduce legislation meant to help new parents by means of paid parental leave.
You're going to have to explain that. I ain't never heard of no parent getting paid to leave. I usually hear baby daddies get threatened with child support if they left.
According to reports Wednesday, a coalition of bipartisan Congress members unveiled a bill which would let new parents tap into the recently boosted tax child credit.
Child tax credit? What in the hell is kids doing getting credit? They can't pay nobody back. I'm still paying on a light bill my grandmother got in my name when I was a little kid. So my credit was messed up as a kid. How are these kids getting credit?
Under the Advancing Support for Working Families Act, parents would be able to use that $2,000 annual tax credit to replace lost wages, hire a babysitter, or even buy supplies for their child.
Lost wages my ass. My grandmother gonna take that $2,000 and get her a bigger dope sack.
This new proposal comes as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle failed to reach a consensus earlier this year on how to best provide parents time off from work.
Paid time off from work to take care of your kids? Damn, what black man wouldn't want that? I would love to stop flipping hamburgers at McDonald's to take care of my kids and get paid for it still. That would make me a better man and a better parent. It shouldn't be no financial status or preference on people who can get off from taking care of their kids. It doesn't matter where you work at. You should be able to take time off to take care of your kid. If the law is for you, the law should be for me too.
That first year of life is so tough for the adjustments to the house, the adjustments back into your workplace, getting yourself back to the right, health yourself as the mother who has given birth, or if it's an adopted child, just recognizing the changes in a family that occur.
One of the changes that occur in the family when you ain't got no money and you have a kid is a nigga get up and leave the whole damn family there to defend on their own. alone.
Supporters of the bill say by using a tax credit, it'll likely gain the support of Republicans who want to avoid a tax hike or a mandate of additional rules to employers.
So Republicans don't want to raise the taxes on nobody. So what the Democrats want to do, what they complaining about?
Also, by abandoning a previous proposal to pay for parental leave by using Social Security funds, more Democrats are likely to hop on board as well.
Not hiring taxes and not using Social Security money, I'm pretty sure that's agreeable.
Meantime, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema says she's co-sponsoring the bill because it also allows new parents to take time off without the threat of termination.
I'm pretty sure somebody can handle them French fries until I get back from taking care of my kid.
The idea behind this portion of the proposal is to ensure that folks who earn a lower dollar amount still are able to spend that bonding time with their child if they so choose, or if they work for a company or a business that won't allow them to take even unpaid leave. It means they're not jeopardizing their job.
Or better than that, jeopardizing their family.
Still, reports suggest the bill might face opposition by lawmakers who also want an option for workers to take time off for a personal illness or to care for a loved one. Nevertheless, the group of senators say the bill also has bipartisan co-sponsors in the House, which they say increases the likelihood the legislation will also soon become law.
So you mean to tell me Donald Trump is getting you jobs, helping you out of poverty, and giving you an opportunity to spend time with your family and get paid while you do it? Nigga. And black people, tell me, am I lying or not? Everybody got an uncle that look and talk just like this. And if you don't believe me, ask Claudette Hanson. My computer's favorite name. She's a black woman. She know.
We're living to survive in America because it's impossible to survive in America when you have to live through all these regulations, but they don't. And so they own 87% of all of the business in America, while the white man and the black man are broke.
Being broke have no color. I know broke people from every color. Mexican, black, white, Asians, you name it, they broke.
Just like in Russia. Of course you want taxes high. Why would you want taxes high? Because you don't pay taxes, Hillary.
He could have just used niggas and rednecks. We all know they the same people, just different colors.
So that's why I love Trump, because he's letting the real white man and the real black man get some money. Give me liberty or give you death.
Give you liberty or give you death. Well, don't give my baby mama any liberty. Give her option number 2.
How did you meet President Trump?
How did I meet him?
Bitch, hold on. Why you all in my business? Well, since you want to know.
The first time I really met him, I was doing parties in West Palm Beach at some of his events. And then I met him at an event where in 2011, when he announced he was running for president, I was called by the people that was doing that event for me to sing behind him.
Because I had a group in the 70s called the Ponytails.
So I sang behind him, and then I stood behind him. And the reason I liked him, because like Cyrus in the Bible was supposed to be a bombastic, egotistical warmonger. In the last days, I was told by Yahweh ben Yahweh that it would be a white man like that that would come to help deliver us out of the king of Babylon's hand.
Donald Trump saved us from Babylon. Well, it'll take the jaws of life to save me from the grips of my baby mama. She got monkey strength. Remember that.
And that's Isaiah 45, 1-5.
And that's on my grandmother Crip set.
And guess what? Trump got, the press accuses him of all of those accolades. And he's not afraid, and he won't back down. That's my man.
But how? Donald Trump could have kept being a billionaire and said, fuck America. Think about it.
And then you can't pay him off. So he's not found wanting. So therefore I stand behind him, because he could have just lived opulently like Moses could have did the same thing. Well, what did Moses do? He took off his royal robe and jumped in the mud with us. And now he's called a deplorable with us instead of standing back and marrying Nefertiti and living an opulent life.
Before Donald Trump was president, he was the man. Now that he's president, he done became every fucked up name in the book.
He could have did that easily. He was living in Mar-a-Lago and having a ball. But he gave it up because he saw that his people, which is the black man and the white man, are being destroyed.
He's the president of his people, the American people. He is the president of the United States, not of the world.
And they said, well, he's a racist. Well, if he's a racist, why did Jesse Jackson thank him for helping him run for president and helping the Rainbow Coalition and help him give black people jobs for the last 30 years? Why did he help that Russell Simmons get financing to do Def Jam records, out of which there would have been no Jay-Z?
Because I was doing what Jay-Z was doing in the 80s.
He helped Don King. I've seen him help black people, like the black guy that fixed his tire, didn't know he was in the car. He paid the man's whole mortgage off. He didn't have to do that.
Shit, if Donald Trump paid my whole mortgage off, I'd be telling Donald Trump jokes till Barron get old.
You know what I'm saying?
The President Trump, or people from President Trump, they have asked you to be behind him in rallies?
No, see, in the beginning, it wasn't really like that. So what I would do, because she's been with me and they've been with, I just go there. You understand? That's what I do. I go there, and they're not like the Democrats. I went to one of Hillary's events one time just so I could bash her.
I remember when I showed up to my baby mama lunch break one time, I was about to bash her, but with a damn brick.
Because I despise her. And when I went there, I had a sign, but I had it sort of covered, and so they said, they came up to me, hey, would you like to stand behind Hillary? So they were recruiting all the black people out of the audience, about 10 of us. I said, of course. So I said, oh my God, I'm gonna get her.
That's the same thing I was saying when I was hiding behind that car.
Somebody said, oh my God, that's Michael the black man. So they stopped me.
And somebody stopped me and said, there go Black Rosebud, the monkey's baby daddy. And they stopped me and called the police on me.
That was the only way she escaped it. But you know what I noticed? They were recruiting.
And that was the only way she escaped. But you know what I noticed? They didn't have no cameras. So I was going to go back again and try one more time.
The Republicans are so over-righteous. And Republicans in Ecclesiastes 7:15 said, don't be so over-righteous to your own harm, for why shouldest thou die before thy time?
Well, my baby mama need to hurry up and die before somebody's time.
So this is what they do. They see you, but they won't say nothing to you. Like the last event, we had over 100 black people there. But they're all sitting on the fringes because they're so afraid. Let me finish this with them first.
Before I slapped the shit out of somebody for cutting me off.
They were so afraid to be seen that they don't even go in. And then the Republicans are so ridiculous, they don't go ask them to come stand behind them.
So they haven't recruited you?
So, no, let me finish.
Wait a minute, didn't you hear what the fuck I just told him? Now somebody is about to get fucking slapped if I get cut off one more damn time.
Your answer is about to be finished. So what I did when I saw them doing that, I would just go sit there and they would be so glad they wouldn't say anything. And so I've been doing it for so long. So when I went there yesterday, I got there at 7:20 in the morning. I took a taxi to the thing. I got there around 8. So I was like 8th in line. There was already people had been there since yesterday.
And I couldn't be there since yesterday, bitch. You know how long it takes to make this hair look this immaculate?
So when we walked in, there was nobody in the venue. So what I did, I looked at the thing and I spied it out and I said, wow. And so what I did, I just walked up there. I said, I'm gonna sit right here. Because I knew that was a good spot. And he said, you gonna sit right here? So I said, yeah. Oh, okay. And nobody said nothing. They don't say anything. But they're so glad that somebody black is gonna come up there. I don't know if they're really glad, but whatever it is, they don't say nothing. You don't say nothing, I'm not gonna say nothing. So let's do this together.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, Michael. Does the Trump campaign, does Mr. Trump know about your association years ago with Yahweh Ben Yahweh?
Now, why would you want to bring up some shit like that?
I really don't know if he knows. I haven't asked him. But, you know, Moses was accused of murder, but he was still the Messiah, and he still delivered us. They accused Jesus of murder. You Prince accused us of all kind of stuff, because the Bible said in Revelation 12:10 that you would be the accuser of the brethren.
So you were not
to
found
accuse
guilty.
us before. Yeah.
I know that.
Well, if you know that, why in the hell are you talking about it and bringing it up in a news conference? Trying to make me look bad, huh?
Right.
Yeah, and if I may say, Gods2.com, who pays for this? How do you travel around the country?
None of your damn business. Stay out of my cash app before I slap the shit out of you. What are you trying to say? He getting money like my grandmother? You are such a stereotypical liberal news reporter.
Oh, me, I raise my own money. I don't need you.
Next question.
Travel around the country too.
Yeah, you just pay. One time
we cannot travel unless somebody's paying us. We are covering our own.
And one time I had a companion pass.
What we believe.
One time I
I'm not questioning your belief.
One time I had a companion pass. And when I had that companion pass, I was flying everywhere because I could fly for free.
They trying to investigate and see, is he a paid Trump supporter so damn bad? I know MAGA paid my way and I drove to 2 events.
So a lot of times, me and him and the brothers, we would drive to the events.
Yeah.
You know, so it was easy.
You still live in Miami?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Right. And are you going to